I just watched Harry and Meghan's docuseries on Netflix. Let's talk about it.
I wonder what would have happened to us had we not got out when we did.
Our security was being pulled. Everyone in the world knew where we were.
I said, we need to get out of here. We are on the Freedom Flight. To see this institutional gaslighting.
I wasn't being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
They were actively recruiting people to disseminate disinformation.
They were happy to lie to protect my brother. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect us.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
The rogue royals.
They just wanted to be free. They wanted to be free to love and be happy. I applauded that.
In order for us to be able to move to the next chapter, you got to finish the first chapter.
It gave us a chance to create that home that we had always wanted.
I've always felt as though this was a fight worth fighting for.
No one questions when you're doing something everyone else is doing. Everyone questions you if you're doing something no one else is doing. That's a quote that comes from Anders Hoffman that he said in his video Project Iceman, and that really came to mind when I was watching this docuseries. I mean, it's way more complicated than that, but I think that's the essence of why what Harry and Meghan are doing with this docuseries is, one, so important, but also why it's ruffled so many feathers. It's not what's done, so people don't understand it. So they filmed this documentary, which you can now watch on Netflix. All of the filming ended before August 2022. Let's kind of talk about it. Something Meghan said really stood out to me. In order for change to happen, a lot of pain needs to come to the surface. That's something she said in one of their interviews, and I think that's really the core of why they're doing what they're doing. To create change in not only the royal family, but in the British media.
Why did you want to make this documentary?
No one sees what's happening behind the closed doors.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
I said in a previous video that I'm not a really big royal watcher. I never really followed the royal family or the Sussexes. I wanted to watch this documentary because I love documentaries and because I love watching people's personal stories. I like to see the different ways that they tell them, and I like to learn more about someone that I previously didn't know anything about and see like what they're struggling with and what is going on in their world. And let me tell you, the things I saw in this documentary absolutely shocked me.
There was a real kind of war against Meghan, and I've certainly seen evidence that there was negative briefing from the palace against Harry and Meghan to suit other people's agendas.
Meg became this scapegoat for the palace, and so they would feed stories on her, whether they were true or not, to avoid other less favorable stories being printed.
You would just see it play out. Like a story about someone in the family would pop up for a minute, and they go, we gotta make that go away. But there's real estate on a website homepage. There is real estate there on a newspaper front cover, and something has to be filled in there about someone royal.
In this 6-episode series, Harry and Meghan share their entire story from when they met, to their courtship, to getting married, to having children, and eventually to leaving the royal family. The first thing that I really thought about this documentary was how striking it is. The cinematography is beautiful, the interviews are set up really well, they're edited really well, which I'm a little bit of a nerd in that way, so I was really excited to see that. But I like how the story that Harry and Meghan are telling is kind of backed up and corroborated by other people who were there and by videos that they took, which is a really cool, intimate touch. Even though some of the videos are vertical, they still included them in this documentary. And I think it gives a really good a really good kind of view into what they were going through in real time. And it's a very personal touch. But the most striking thing that they added into this docuseries that really drives the point home is the newspaper headlines that are just sprinkled throughout the story and screen grabs of newspapers, and it just really helps tell the story about what was happening with the British media. I wasn't aware, for instance, that all of this stuff was going on, because you see pictures and you see videos of them when you stumble across them on the internet, and people seem to like them, they seem happy, people are lining up in the streets, but it's not about what public opinion really was. It's about what the British media contorted this whole thing into, which I think is really too bad. I was originally going to recap what was in each episode, but I think that if you want to know what was in each episode, you should go and watch it. Not sponsored, but it was just beautifully done. And I don't feel like I have any right to tell you what your opinion should be about it. I just wanted to come and talk about some of the things that I noticed and some of the things that I took away from this documentary. So if you want to know what's in every episode, if you want to know all the details, go watch the series. Don't watch people's reviews. In preparation for this video, I watched quite a few video reviews from other people, and essentially the facts are taken out of context, their opinion is injected heavily. So if you want to be an independent person and build your own opinion about the series, go watch it. So I'm very interested in documentaries, but I'm very interested in documentaries and personal stories that talk about mental health. And Harry and Meghan talk quite a bit about their mental health, including Meghan sharing issues that she had with not only depression, but with suicidal ideation, which I thought was a very brave thing for her to share in front of, let's be real, billions of people, most of whom don't even like or believe Meghan. So I thought that was very brave. Not to mention that they also shared, Harry and Meghan, they also shared about their experience with miscarriage, which all of these things, depression, miscarriage, mental health issues of any kind, are something that lots and lots of people can relate to, regardless of who you are. If you're a trash guy or a royal person, apparently. It adds a level of being able to relate to them because lots of people can understand and have gone through those things, and lots of people will. It doesn't matter what class, race, anything you are, you've probably experienced or know someone who's experienced those things. So overall, I really wanted to make this video because I was inspired by the way that Harry and Meghan conducted themselves. I thought they held themselves with such poise. I often feel like documentaries are very one-sided because someone is driving the story, and I didn't feel that way with this one. I usually watch a documentary and then at the end I'm like, okay, I have to kind of adjust for bias, but I actually didn't feel that way with this one. I felt like this one was very even, and they owned up to some things that they've done and just told the story in a really real and really genuine way. This docuseries was really cool to watch, not only because they're saying their story the way that they experienced it, but you can also watch them, and I think if you're gonna go into this series with a bias, you're gonna find what you're gonna find. But if you go into it with an open mind, I think that people would agree that their story comes across very genuine, and hate it or love it, I think it is genuine. It comes across very real and very honest. And I think that's really all you can ask from somebody, is to honestly and bravely tell their story, because this would take a lot of guts, especially for Harry, where speaking this out into the world may create a lot of change in the royal family and for the British media, but it also has the potential to ruin his and put a lot of strain on his relationship with his family forever. And I hope that they come out the other side and are able to get some peace out of this, but not knowing the gamble makes what they're doing very brave, in my opinion. Overall, I love this documentary. I thought the story was told really well. The cinematography was done beautifully. the personal touches with the cell phone footage and with their friends' accounts, along with the fact pieces with people corroborating the stories and the newspaper headlines. It was really well done. I never felt like the story lagged, and I really appreciate people in their position speaking on difficult things, and it's something that I would like to remain inspired to do when I share my stories. The quote that I mentioned at the very beginning that Megan said, "In order for change to happen, a lot of pain needs to come to the surface." That is something I'm going to put up on my wall as I'm writing my memoir. And I think a lot of people can take inspiration from that. So go and watch it. You may be shocked at what you learn, as I was. Oh my gosh. You may also be really touched and really inspired by what is a show of bravery. And my camera died, so I'm just gonna finish off here. I hope that you go and watch it because I really sincerely think it's worth the watch. If you're a skeptic, go watch it so that you can form your own opinion about what you're seeing and not be fed whatever opinion someone who's already watched it, including me. Like, go watch it and then come back to the comments and tell me if you liked it or if you didn't like it. I just think it's a show of bravery, and I hope that people can be compassionate to this story and maybe watch it with an open mind. But anyway, I loved it. Beautiful documentary. I will definitely be watching it again in the future. So if you like this video and you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when I post new videos, and I will see you in the next video.